Yo, and welcome to the 22nd episode of Lake of Rage, a Pokemon trading card game podcast. I am your host, as always, Kevin Clementi, aka Mellow_Magikarp, and I'm joined today by two very special, very temporary guest hosts. No matter how much you want them back over and over again, they can't stay. I'm sorry. Joining us for it's been 22 episodes, so let's say 22nd time, is Grant, aka Boo CK. For those of you who are listening on audio, which is most of you, Grant is holding up. Is it Bryson Man and Belobla, or is it Sabrina and
Bryson? We did it. We did it. Thank you, Pokemon, for listening to this.
I can only assume that they did it just because of you.
Absolutely.
And joining us for like the sixth time is Anya, aka Anya.
Hi.
That's your Twitch name. It's just Anya. So okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Today,
it's simple.
We have a special episode, mostly being angry at stuff, I guess. That sounds about
always.
Right. Well, no. Well, yeah, actually. Today, we're going to talk about Pog Championships, what that is. You may have heard about it, but we're going to get into that a little bit. Grant has, of course, some rants on some things Pokemon. And then we're also going to give an update on the state of the game, standard, and what's going on. And then we'll have some questions from Twitch chat. As always, we are live on twitch.tv/mellow_Magikarp. So Grant, how's your week been?
Not bad. Early in the week, we're just getting it going. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of things on my mind. The Grant rant list is 7 or 8. I've whittled down to 3, and I think we'll go with 1 today. So
we'll see if you can hold yourself to 1.
Mel, how's your week? We never asked you that.
Yeah,
it's been great. I'm on summer break right now. Nikhil, awesome. Aka Evie, I know you two know this, but those of you who listen to the podcast, he was on last week. He's on consistently. He's in Seattle, so we're gonna go play some retro format on Thursday, which I'm hyped for. Because
he loves that.
06, 2010, and Sun and Moon Lost Thunder. We've got all those built at tabletop. So anyone in Seattle too, they are there. It's like a library. You can just go quote unquote check out the decks to play in the store. And those formats are very fun. We'll get into why a little later. That's going to be our second half of the podcast. But I'm pretty hyped for that because Gyarados was a valid deck in 2010, and Gyarados is my favorite Pokemon. Anya, how's your week been?
I have been having some break, and that's about it.
That sounds great.
Yeah, no, it's great.
So like me, you've been playing a bunch of Pokemon Unite?
No, I'm not.
Actually, I haven't either, to be fair.
Yeah, no, I played at the beginning, and I think, I don't know what your guys' rants are, but I'm not a big fan of Zapdos.
Well,
which
we can get into that.
No, not a big fan of Zapdos, so kind of killed my enjoyment for the game.
I should be playing more Unite. I definitely like sit there and I'm like, that game sounds fun. And then I just don't turn on my Switch. And so I play like 4 or 5 games a night, usually not in ranked because I'm not good at the game. Why am I the best person on my team? That's so upsetting. I should not have to try and carry a squad because I know I'm not good. I 100% admit I should not be the best person on a team. It's really upsetting when my Snorlax is scoring the most points and getting the most KOs.
Zapdos is definitely an issue, but there are more beyond that. We could talk about that in the after show or later topics, because that's definitely a rant.
All right, we'll stick to TCG. If anyone wants more Unite talk, let us know in the comment section if you're on YouTube, or DM me on Twitter or something like that, and we can happily have more Unite. Grant plays a lot. Top 100 scorer in the game.
Just top 100 in the game.
I'll just leave it there. Just period. Yeah. You'll love to see it. So we're going to start off with 20 questions. It's been a few weeks since we've done this because we've had guests the last handful of weeks, but the two co-hosts are going to take turns asking a question, kind of a yes or no or something like that question about a card that I have picked. I picked a random standard format card, and I gave them the hint earlier that it's a valid card in the Gym Leader Challenge format that we had Mahone on last week talking about. Go back and listen to that episode if you haven't yet. It's very good. But they're going to take some turns, ask some questions about said card, and we'll see if they can guess it within 20 questions.
I bet we do.
I think you can.
There's about 20 legal cards in the format.
Yeah, you've given us so many questions already, basically answered by the gym leader challenge.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Grant, start us off. What is your first question?
Is it a trainer card?
No.
Okay.
Is it a Pokemon card?
Yes.
Is it a evolution?
Yes.
Is it a stage 2?
Yes.
Does it have an ability?
Yes. What stage 2 doesn't have an ability?
Plenty.
Luxray.
Oh, that's true. All right, Anya, question 6.
Is it a metal type?
Yes. Dang it.
I don't know.
I wonder what it is. I know what it is.
Pass.
Is it Aegislash?
It is Aegislash. Aegislash with that big shield ability. All of your Pokemon take 30 less damage from your opponent's attacks. I love this
There's
card.
multiple Aegislash, by the way.
Ooh, there are. There's only
Yeah, no,
one.
I meant the good one.
Swap them?
I meant the good one.
Yeah, that's. I may have made that too easy because I was playing it on stream earlier and talked about how good it was.
Yeah, and also I have been building metal.
Oh, that's true.
The metal deck all day.
That card is so sick, though. You have that. You have goggles.
Oh yeah.
And you're just taking -60, which in that format is just so gross. I love that card.
And you have
so
Melmetal. Melmetal is so good.
What's the Melmetal do?
It has so it's 150 HP for 4 energy, 150, and then its ability is if you discard a metal energy from your hand, you heal 100 damage.
Oh wait, that's broken.
Yeah, right.
Because with the Aegislash and a tool, you have to do 160. You have to do more than 160 to even touch it.
Yeah. Like, and you have Ace Rollers. You have Max Potion with the Clean Clank that can move the energies around. You have AC, you have Net, you have Ace Roller, you have Lusamine and Cynthia Caitlyn to loop these. You have Mount Net to get back the energies.
Yeah.
And Malulana if you want to heal that way.
This is why we dominated
Metal
the deck
Pokemon?
wizard format.
Oh, I can't read. Apparently it's wait.
It's something very easy to discard in the deck. I do know that. But yeah, metal feels underrated right now from the stuff I've heard people talking about. Everyone talks about water, grass, and lightning being good, and psychic, which they are. But metal feels
it's a metal Pokemon.
Really powerful. So
it's not that good.
Yeah, I mean, healing 100. You only have to, if it survives 3 turns, you win the game, right? Because you're so far ahead at that point. Like, that's the cool thing about the Gym Leader Challenge is you really only have to buy yourself 1 or 2 turns in a single prize format, and you win the game, right? So if you're like 2 turns ahead, and N can't stick your opponent, you win. If you survive 2 turns with this tanky Melmetal or Dragapult or whatever, you win the game.
And also doing 150 is pretty good, especially when you have Berserker to push it to 170.
Which that
might help some math, I don't know. Basically.
Except Wailord.
Copperaja.
Oh, and Copperaja,
yeah. But Dragapult has 150, doesn't it?
Yep. So.
But if I remember correctly, Rillaboom might have 180.
170.
It has 170, okay.
Yeah. It is ultimate rayable, but because it doesn't have more than 180. Yeah. So yeah, it OHKOs everything in the format except Wailord and Copperaja, I guess. Although the mirror match has to be gross.
And other metal stuff.
Yeah. And like I said, the metal mirror match has to be disgusting. But that specific card should win you the metal mirror match.
Unless they also have it.
Yeah, and then whichever one you plays trump card. No, because then you trump card your opponent. So you just tie. You go to time in a 60-minute round if one of you plays trump card. That's so good.
No. Yes, especially wait. You can have a deck out in this format unless they remove the trump card.
I mean,
you can just play it.
If no one plays it. It also depends. If you mismanage your resources, you can also.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but if you play Lusamine and Cynthia Caitlyn and Trump, like, wait, no, if you only play Trump card and Lusamine, or Trump card and Cynthia Caitlyn, you never deck X.
Yeah, that is accurate.
Unless, like, Handiwork or below happens.
Yeah, so the format is not... Control can exist, but Control has to exist in like a very specific vacuum of like Stoutland lock them before they can Trump card or something like that. That's assuming you play... I only have one deck that plays Trump card, and the rest of my decks are like, I don't care. I'm never going to deck out.
So there are no bans other than the rules?
No, there's annoying cards,
no.
but no bans.
No bans. Only rulebooks. Cards are banned.
Yeah, because like Forest of Giant Plants isn't broken in this format. Because the format's so slow, like getting Vileplume up just makes you brick. Like it's not actually.
I think if you get the turn 1 Vileplume, and you have build around getting the turn 1 Vileplume, and therefore not having a lot of items, you're doing pretty fine. I would not complain about the situation.
Wait, my grass deck doesn't play Revitalizer. I have to go fix that. Anyway, I've been enjoying the...
Wait, Revitalizer is not that good for Vileplume, though.
But no, I'm just saying for my period grass deck, it doesn't have Vileplume.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like Cherum and Rillaboom and big basic attackers. It's definitely a good card.
You should have chosen the Mismagius for the new reprinted Mismagius.
Ooh, yeah.
That'd be a tough one to get if I wasn't holding it for the...
I don't even know what that does.
Yeah, but
yeah, exactly. No one knows it exists. It's actually the bottom card in the toolkit.
Yeah, because no one wants it.
Yeah.
I'm a little...
I mean, Mismagius was so fun. Imagine like the one they banned. Very fun card.
Oh, God.
That was such a well-designed card.
They need to ban it.
And it wasn't that good. That's the weird part.
No, they were like afraid to test, like they were, I don't know, afraid that it was going to interact with the cards they designed, but it's like you just design the cards differently. Didn't you plan for this?
We now all know the cards that will be legal in the time the Magic is illegal. Because it would have rotated this rotation.
That's
perfect.
True.
Perfect. So part of the Grant rant. Nexus. They don't care. They don't plan ahead. Clearly, it wouldn't have affected anything. It didn't break the format. It's just a fun card to have.
I'm curious.
They don't know what they're doing.
What if they did break the format with it and we just can't figure it out?
Oh, maybe yeah.
Well, they're not.
That does not sound like Pokemon.
I mean,
but they're not progressive like that though. Like normally, it takes somebody to break it before they ban it. So, because that was the whole point. The expanded, it happened, and then they banned it that week.
Yeah,
the week after. It wasn't like we're seeing ahead. We're seeing into the future. This can't work. And plus, with the two separate formats, it doesn't matter. Like, how do they even figure this out? And we'll get into that in the Grant rant a little bit. I'm gonna keep the Grant rant short because I think it just translates into a full discussion. But I don't think they're really planning for this stuff.
That's what I'm curious, because it was TPC, not TPCI, that did it. So it's impossible to ask. Like, we can't go ask like Mia or Puka or Kenny or anyone we know, because they just said Papa Pokemon Japan told me to do this. And I really wish Pokemon Japan would communicate this stuff more so we can get an idea, like, why besides we're afraid would you have done this?
But they don't have to follow in suit.
They do. That's why
Lusamine. I think they do.
It was very clear, both by the way they worded, and if you read Puka's tweet about Lusamine being unbanned, it's very clear that they're being forced to do what TPC pretty much told them to do.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well,
because we're not even on the same format.
That's
how's their standard doing with Jirachi and Nets? Oh wait, they don't have it.
Poor Coco.
Wait, what's their? I do not know their formats.
They don't have half of Team Up, so they don't have Coco Prism, Jirachi, Energy Spinner, and that's why anyone who's played and you see someone play Energy Search on the ladder, there's a good chance they net deck the Japanese list, or they're a Japanese player who forgets that Spinner is legal in our format and not there, or they're rightfully testing for their own format. So
that was why Pukrom attached in the tournament attached 3 times to itself before they attacked.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was such a bad game. They just sat there manually attaching and.
No, that's how it should be. Just slow game.
No, because you have Bolton
Attach,
too.
pass.
I don't think that person played
we
Bolton.
ignore
We
Bolton.
never saw
no need
it.
for Bolton. No need for Bolton. We don't need Bolton. Just attach, pass.
Bolton's such
he
a
won
good
the game.
Pokemon. I love Bolton, man.
Pikarom won that game.
Yeah, because the other person did somehow less than attach pass every single turn.
Pikarom just broken.
So let's get into a little bit of news before Grant starts yelling even more than he already has. It was just announced POG, the Pokemon Online Global Championships, is scheduled for September 4th and 5th. Those of you who were not playing this time last year, this might be news to you what POG is. POG is quote unquote fake worlds. Last year they ran it. It was a 2-day event, 2 different tournaments. They haven't announced that yet, but there were 2 different time zones. One that started at and Anya, you played in the morning one, so I don't know if you remember what time it started at. The other one started at 8 a.m. my time, so 11 a.m. Eastern time, which was much more manageable for a West Coaster to wake up for. And then everyone played day 2, started at 5 a.m. Pacific, which was miserable, but it was very fun. Last year's, the day 2 direct invites was for all of the top 16, top 22 from EU, etc. Top 8 from Latin American players got auto invites to day 2, and then people who made it past day 1. So just like Worlds, day 1 and day 2 are separate tournaments. Day 1, you need whatever the record's going to be, 6 and 3 or something like that to make it to day 2. Day 2, everyone starts over in a new tournament, and you see what happens.
The decks.
Yeah, last year was
Isaiah 19 points, 10 rounds, 19 points to make day 2.
Was it?
No, I think it was. There were no ties.
Well, or 7 and 3 then.
It was fairly.
I think
easy.
if you lost 4, you would drop.
Yeah.
Okay. So 7 and 3 last year to make day 2. Isaiah Bradner won last year with Pikarom over Sander, so it was a lot of the biggest name players were playing in it. It was actually a pretty big deal, and I'm excited to see if people take it as seriously again. Like, outside of play Pokemon events, like the Players' Cup, I don't think I've taken a tournament anywhere near as seriously as POG. POG and the original Limitless ones that were over 1,000 people that I actually cared about were the last time I tried for a non-official event. Like, tested and thought about it. You know what I mean? So I'm super hyped for this. Yeah. It is pre-rotation with Evolving Skies as well. Which, honestly,
very much looking forward to.
My advice is just play something good from this format. Don't break Rayquaza. You're not going to.
Pick your favorite deck and add a 2/2 Umbreon line, and you should be good.
Yeah.
Now we're at Pika Umbreon. Now we're talking.
Or try and break Control, like I do.
Control is the one deck that I think might actually be better because they get some cool cards, right?
It gets Zork and Wally.
Yes, Wally as an item seems pretty good. Vigor Shake for anyone.
But there's not really anything that good to get. It's Omastar. It's fine. But that's almost the same as Rare Candy Omastar. Not a lot of different there. And then there's Trevnor, and that's about it.
Wait, why isn't Fossil Lock good? With Yellhorn? Or not Yellhorn. What's it called? Horn. Echoing.
So the thing you do is you put the Pokemon active.
Yeah.
And then you don't do anything until you just win the game.
Mawile.
Okay, so you're going to play Mawile and Echo Horn, and as well as Omastar. Your Omastar will get bossed. That's why I previously commented about us not relying on Custom Catcher anymore, but relying on Boss and Umbreon.
That's
to Gust.
I think the last time I played
Omastar is only locking Switch. Omastar is only locking Switch.
Who plays Birdkeeper?
Yeah. No. It's good to lock Switch, but it's a big commitment to play that to just lock Switch cards.
Yeah. You're saying it makes more sense to just play like the Munchlax Persian.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Even though Omastar Flapple is a very funny meme deck. And I'm talking about the Flapple V.
The sour spit.
Which if you don't... Yeah. Does attack. For 1 grass, you do 20, and your opponent's attack costs 2 colors more. You can also play Grapple Lock V, pretty good attack as well. For 1 fighting energy, you do 20, and your opponent's basic Pokemon like active basic Pokemon can't attack next turn. And with Almost Star, you can put some cool effects because they can't switch.
So more of the story is September 4th and 5th, the POG Championships, which, like I said, last year it was treated like a pseudo Worlds. This year, I hope people take it as seriously. It ends up being as big. I'd like to see, again, over 1,000 players in it. That would be a lot of fun because I want to take it seriously. I think it's really fun to have something to play for. No offense to Wednesday night tournaments, but your boy got to sleep. So I don't care about
you get
those.
a free Dragapult.
Yeah.
Or
your boy got to sleep, so I don't care about those. But something big is always enjoyable to play. And last year there was cash prizing. I got 18th place, took home $12 and some odd cents for only like 15 hours of work.
That's a Halal Guys combo platter right there.
Plus, I'm a little selfish. It went on my Limitless page last year, and I'm hoping this one goes on my Limitless page again. Trying to get that profile up.
I mean, I don't think Limitless has stopped recording PC4 or like any of the PC or TC tournaments.
Global finals, they have been.
Oh, they have. Oh, the global. Okay,
yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and get into that Grant rant. Unless you had anything else on POG.
No. Okay. Just that we were a presenting sponsor last year, and if they're taking sponsors again, I'm sure we'll be doing the same.
Yo, let's
go. As us as a team are very clearly all in favor of what they're doing over there.
Team Carpe D's Rats supporting. So it was your $12. Thank you, Buck.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. So Grant, what is your rant?
Okay, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet because I know there's a lot of discussion that we can have about it.
I don't believe that.
Well, no, I can. I know I talked to myself about it all day, and it's a back and forth I have with myself, and it makes me question whether I'm schizophrenic or not. And so today, I narrowed it down to the Fusion Strike set, our next announced set.
Wait, is it actually called Fusion Strike?
That's, I think, what they've revealed, right?
I don't pay attention, so I'm going to take your word for it. Okay.
Well, let's just look and see.
Because I know people have like referred to it as like the third battle style,
right?
But I don't know if it's like officially like a rapid strike,
I think
single
that's
strike,
how
strike.
Per Pokebeach, the next English set will be named Fusion Strike.
Okay. So canonically, it is in fact a strike, a battle style.
I think it's only Fusion on the card.
Okay.
It doesn't say
the logo's got another word. I don't know. Well, okay. So Japan's set is Fusion Arts. We knew that. We were wondering what that was, but apparently they said it'll be called Fusion Strike, which would obviously fall in line with Rapid and Single Strike. Very concerning for the direction of the game, as we haven't even fleshed out what a Rapid and Single Strike is. And if that's all we're getting, then they are confirming what we've said before, or I've said at least, is that they don't know what they're doing. They have no idea, and they haven't planned ahead, and that's what goes back to what we were saying earlier about the Mismagius ban. There's no direction. If they know all these cards and are playing them by themselves, what's going on here? Why are we doing this? Are we done getting Rapid Strike and Single Strike cards then? Is this just a set or two? Okay, we know at least they've thought about this being a shutdown set with the Huntail and Gorbis, with the abilities that a Rapid Strike or Single Strike doesn't have abilities. I don't understand where they're going. And the other issue I have, and I'm just going to open it to discussion right away because I'll take this Grant rant into the topic. Fusion Energy. Are we going to have the same energy problem we had with Single Strike, where they messed that one up big time?
Oh, that was bad.
Really bad. So bad, and I don't want to give Mia any grief, but in the box, the pamphlet had it misprinted, and they had to redact that. They didn't apologize for it. They haven't apologized for the mistakes, but they had to go back and fix it.
Yeah.
There's some cool cards in here, and the idea seems great. But if this is what we're doing, where we have little micro universes inside of the card game, where are we going? Mew is only good for 2-3 cards right now, so that means we have to get more. Otherwise, Mew's a terrible card.
See, I think it seems like they're going to go with the battle styles type stuff, where it's like 3 sets, and so we're going to get a couple sets of fusion. So Mew will eventually be a broken card.
Okay, that's good. So now, why do you think they do that?
Make Mew
Why do you
broken?
think that's the thing? No, why do you think they're going to split these up into 3 things and make you have to go buy? And also keep in mind all of 70 in evolutions or evolving skies, and whatever we'll see with this, all the secret rares and the full arts and all of that. Why do you think they're doing this?
Why? Because that's how the game works. You just get new stuff. Yeah.
Money.
I mean, yes, it's money. Of course, there's money involved.
You need to get all these cards. They don't care. They don't really actually care about the retail anymore. That's why Target and Walmart they limit it to 2. They don't really care about the money because people are going to buy it no matter what, right? So at that point, the card shops or whoever's selling online are selling something, a product that's already been bought for what they need. It's a piece of cardboard. Keep that in mind. Piece of cardboard costs a half cent to print these things at max. And they don't care at that point because they're selling it to you at already such a huge markup. Who cares if the EV secret rare costs $200? They don't care. That means there's engagement. They can gauge their engagement by how much these things are selling on the secondary market. It doesn't matter to them because they've made their margins on the card game, on a piece of cardboard to you. And now there's 3 different. So if you want to play it, you have to buy a full set of 1 set. So you have to buy Rapid Strike, Urshifu, Single Strike, Urshifu, Fusion. You have to buy Fusion energies, Single Strike energies, Rapid Strike energy. I mean, come on.
That's fine. That's how the game works. You don't have to play all the archetypes. You can just pick one of the archetypes and play it.
That's
well,
not how the game is.
One deck can be shut down right away. They've printed a card that shuts down one of the other sets.
I want to point this out because you say this, and so have a lot of other people. They print counter cards. That is a good thing. A, the cards aren't going to be played. B, it gives us an answer to stuff, so stuff just doesn't run wild. So it's kind of like Baby Buzzwole was there, and people are like, oh, Pikarom can never last because it hits the exact amount of numbers. Pikarom was the BDIF in that format. They printed Resetting Whole Marshadow, and people were like, oh, Baby Buzz is dead. It didn't kill Baby Buzz. Baby Buzz was still a very good deck. They printed Spiritomb. Spiritomb, no one plays it. No one needs to counter Mad Party. It's the same thing that's going to happen here. Like, these counter cards are good because they give you the option, but I don't think they don't kill anything. They don't force you to buy new cards because no one's going to play them because they're not that good.
Well, they printed their Mad Party boxes and they sold them. And they sold out of them. They don't need to reprint them because there's no demand for it.
I mean, there is because it's Shining Fates. People want Shining Fates.
I don't think as much as you think.
I think so. Going to a card shop every week, I know what sells. Shining Fates will sell immediately. Most everything will sell except Vivid Voltage and Battle Styles. No one wants this.
But okay, so Mello, you say that that's how the game works, but that's not how the game has worked in the past. The synergy between the cards right now is very forced.
Yes.
It's allow for less creativity when we build decks. Like, Rapid Strike is one good deck. We got a lot of cards, and it's like, okay, yeah, there's a few archetypes of Urshifu. There's only one good Rapid Strike deck.
Yes.
So why? It's not like Battle Rapid Strike. No, what?
I mean, how many good Team Strike? Plasma decks?
It's not I don't know. I didn't play it.
There was like one, right? It was like Plasma Lugia, and I guess there might have been another one with like the Baby Kira. But it's like the same logic, or like Team Magma.
Yeah,
Team
but
it's the same.
If this is that means they're out of creativity. They need some sort of buffer to figure out their time because let's do a little buffer set for a year or 2 and then we'll throw evolutions in there and we'll throw every single alt art we can and put tins, boxes, and they're like, hopefully there's a global pandemic where the demand is so high for collectibles that we have to open up new factories. People are asking us for their product so they can print it. And the card quality's been terrible, by the way.
Them recycling stuff isn't new. They've always recycled
stuff. But it was only plasma look. It was Genesect was a plasma card.
There we go.
Yes, there were more. The cards weren't just good in its own archetype. They were just good cards.
I mean, you say that like Rapid Strike Urshifu is a Rapid Strike deck. They don't play Octillery.
They will.
The Inteleon version, a lot of them do, and Inteleon is a Rapid Strike card.
They will and they should.
The big
I know
Inteleon
towards Rapid Strike Urshifu deck does play a 1/1 Octillery,
which I actually really like. But
yeah, no, it's good because it's just meant to work in that specific with those specific cards. It's force combinations.
Yes.
Which is not, I don't think, create a fun environment to deck build.
I don't think nothing about the Urshifu is forced right now, though. It's just like, what sucks is Eternatus was pretty darn forced, right? Shadow Rider, pretty forced. Eternatus? The fact that they put it out there with
that they banned a card so that they could sell it? Yeah, that's pretty forced. Tins, 3 different arts. Yeah, come on.
Giving us Fog Crystal with Shadow Rider, that was a pretty much like, here you go, these go together. So yeah, there are some that are forced.
You always had that Mysterious Treasure.
Yeah, but Mysterious Treasure was a good card outside of also Malamar.
Right.
Although it's still playing Ray. Houndoom is only good in single strike decks.
Yeah. Only. And they nerfed it.
Yeah, and they also messed up Houndoom.
Are you playing single strike?
They don't allow for creativity.
Exactly.
And the same will happen with Fusion. Fusion cards only synergize with Fusion cards. And then you got forced builds.
And these cards look so good, too. Smeargle. Choose up to 2 Fusion Trainer cards from your discard pile. Put them in your hand. Alyssa Sparkle. Choose 2 Fusion Pokemon. Attach a Fusion Energy to the Pokemon. Whatever these names are. Chili, Sillin, Cress. Dumb. Search for 3 Fusion Pokemon. Great card. Fusion. Power Tablet. Busted card. Fusion Energy. Not affected by ability. These are so good. Just Fusion.
See, but so
now you have a little microcosm here.
Yeah. There's still there is still some amount of stuff you can do. Now it is an issue because we're simplifying the game. We're simplifying deck building. That I agree 100% with. But I'm perfectly fine with this existing. If they're gonna force us into decks, at least give us more options. The Rapid Strike engine, the Single Strike engine, is much more interesting than the Eternatus engine, which was cut and paste, right?
That's because it's Eternatus.
Well, that too.
Well, any deck is interesting compared to Eternatus.
Also true.
Here's the other thing, is that there are cards being left behind that are good cards that could have been played or could see play now that we're getting rotation on a whole new block. And I'm going to take one, for example. It's probably not good. And I'm not going to use Delmise because it's seeing some play, but the Rillaboom VMAX, things like that are never going to see play. It hits 280. It's pretty good. But cards, there's the basic cards that are still being printed that aren't part of this ecosystem. Their cards still power these other cards. Mm-hmm. So Leon still powers Single Strike, Rapid Strike, Fusion Strike. 30 more. And so now you're adding Power Tablet, so you can hit 150 more a turn, plus whatever other buffers they come up with. Who knows? I mean, they've gone crazy with this little thing, and maybe they've rushed it out too fast. And maybe that might be the difference between us and Japan, where they get them month by month and they've played them out, because we've seen clearly here, if you read Twitter for a day, the next day everyone's bored of the set.
People are already bored of post rotation. Yeah. So you have no response to that because
No, I gotta
it's a
time
huge
out
joke.
somebody in chat.
Oh, that's good. You should definitely do that. But yeah,
I like it. I mean, I like the idea, the creativity, but like the interactions, it has been proven to be wrong by them, and it just makes me question the card design.
I think it's going to be quote unquote balanced as a 3-prize meta can be. That's the issue. Is we still have to have these 3-prize Pokemon smashing into each other and hope that the color on the other side isn't the color in the bottom left corner of your card. That is a huge deal. That I will never ever argue against the weakness roulette of 3-prize Pokemon being god awful.
No. But like, imagine if Mew still was a fusion card, but say, and we had some cards that synergized with fusion card, but Mew synergized with other cards that were not fusion. Like, it could copy any Pokemon's cards, which makes it, yes, definitely better, but also makes more interesting decks.
Yes, like Mewtwo and Mew.
That's why I like, yeah, or Zoroark. I enjoyed Zoroark a lot because it wasn't one deck. It was a bunch of different decks because Zoroark synergized with a lot of cards.
Yes. R.I.P. Zoroark. That's another one. I will never argue against Zoroark was good card design. The fact that it attacked for a DCE, everything in that format was like, DCE was good for it, right? Golisopod, grass DCE. Lycanroc, fighting DCE. Gardevoir, DCE just did more damage. Oranguru, attack for
Gyarados.
Oh, bro, Venting Anger? That deck was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there were other like decks that you could build with Zoroark that just like weren't as good as the others, but they did exist. Like I ran Buzzwole Zoroark for a little bit, which was technically fine. Like you could trade to get your B strings. You could still hit hard with dark stuff against Psychic because Malamar was a deck. But yeah, it was enjoyable. It was a good card design because you could play whatever it is you wanted with it. Unlike the single strike.
But that's also why like
Fusion Strike.
Yeah. But that's the same reason. Also, Ditto was fun. Ditto Prism. Because it wasn't. Ditto Prism just worked with, like, for example, I don't know, you could swap it with other Prism stars. It would be very boring.
Yeah. Ditto Prism should just always be a card.
That should definitely be reprinted as a card.
It's fun because it synergizes with not one specific thing, but anything you can think of.
I think the reason I am for Rapid Strike, Single Strike, and Fusion Strike as of right now is unlike the first sets of the Sword and Shield block, we have stage 1 Pokemon that you want to play as bench sitters. We have Octillery, we have Houndoom, we have whatever. I don't know about Fusion. I don't look that far ahead. But like, I'm a fan of that. They went away from that for a while. And so I think one of the reasons I am in favor of it is they're giving us like, hey, you can have a deck that's not just beat stick, ram into each other, and hope for the best.
Yeah, no, Inteleon is a very, Inteleon, extremely fun and interesting card. Yeah. And it allows for a lot of I think at least a little bit of skill, because you need to do at least some decisions.
Yes, you could. I've seen casting as well. People will pick the wrong card off of, or evolve at the wrong time into their Drizzle. And it definitely takes a skill, right? Like you have to decide how quickly do I want to evolve versus do I want to keep Level Ball as an out, off of Marnie or Stamp, versus how quickly do I need the quick shooting out there versus how, do I want to protect my Sobble because it's so squishy against their quick shooting or whatever it is. Yeah, Inteleon is just such a cool card.
Yeah.
Okay, so so I have so many issues still going on, and I do want to bring back the conversation we had earlier in Discord about formats.
Yeah.
And how, so I watched, I mentioned the story of I was watching Omnipoke, shout out to a friend of the program, Joe and Jack, and recent one in the autoplay was to Zoro Lycanroc. And it was so fun and entertaining. I watched the whole hour-long video from 2018 format where decisions had to be made. And now we're in a format, and I think our conversation might be muddled a little bit because we're thinking now Fusion will be post-rotation. So we don't have to think too much. There's no tag team or any of that stuff. Obviously no Mew, and weakness is a problem.
Ooh, although we do lose the tag call engine, which
is my favorite.
To go off of things that mesh together and can go in any deck, I will miss the tag call engine so much.
Yeah. I'm gonna miss it. But the format being interactive and being two-shot and having to plan, and that was the big thing. Right now, it feels like it's a race to set up to attack, and we're not really getting it. And this might be the same thing, whereby each set gets Single Strike has it. You can, if you set up and you live a turn, you can smack, but you can't because the game plan's so easy. They put something out, you have boss, and everybody can hit enough to hit 220 and keep you from setting up.
Yes.
Or if they can't, they just kill your Houndoom. So maybe, is that the balance they want?
I think it might be, actually. Like, I would be shocked if that's not their game design right now.
So these stage ones that provide so much depth to the format are easily crushable to ruin your experience playing Pokemon.
Because in theory, we're losing reset stamp. I haven't put much thought into post rotation, so there's a 90% chance what I'm saying is completely stupid. But you can force your opponent into these awkward prize trade situations if they go for these single prize bench sitters instead of your big boss monster, these VMAXs. Kind of like Ice Rider, where it's like, you can chase my Inteleon all you want. I'm probably still going to win the game because you have to KO 2 VMAXs.
Yeah.
Fair. Except for Fusion. It's going to be pretty easy with Power Tablet.
We don't know what the numbers are going to be yet. That might be true, but it's kind of like E-Power. Lightning just didn't hit very hard. Like, E-Power was designed around Pikarom hitting 150, which was absolute booty for a 3-prize Pokemon.
Okay, so let's take the Vs that we have. Genesect, which is busted, 210. Technoblast.
Trash.
And 220, 120 more is 250.
Yeah. Two tablets.
2 tablets, 170 doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Only 1 tablet really matters for the Vs. And then 4 KOs about everything but the turns.
But 4 is a lot. As someone who's played a heck of a lot of Pokemon in a format with research, 4 tablets at the same time is... You're not going to do that more than once a tournament, probably.
No, but that is still once a tournament.
That is true. And that's one of the reasons why it is a valid... what's it called? A valid archetype. It's like saying ADP will get the turn 1 GX occasionally. Like, when you do that...
Yes, and I'm against ADP. I'm not for ADP.
No.
I'm not for ADP. I am against ADP. The same way I'm against Fusion.
I don't mind a deck that can pull off these ridiculous combos every once in a while.
Yes, but the combos are not interesting. The combos are not interesting.
Go tablet, plus 120.
Yeah, that's not interesting to watch.
Well,
wow, he was able to find all the tablets. Impressive.
It's broken.
Let's assume it's like the other stuff. They're going to put there'll be one more fusion set, or one more inclusion at least. So, and another energy, guessing.
Yes.
Right now, it's all busted. The setup, fusion's going to be super busted to get you where you need to go. So it might be easier to find your tablets. You're going to have the energy, and these are some of these attacks are scalable by fusion Pokemon on the bench. You have great setup there.
The Genesect is disgusting. The fact you can use more than one of that ability per turn, that one might be the broken part rather than tablet. I think tablet's fair.
Well, the whole the combo. You need to find your tablets, put down another Genesect.
I don't really remember Genesect's ability. What's its ability?
It's
draw
Erica's Hospitality.
Yeah.
Oh no, draw until you. Yeah, it's Erica's Hospitality. No. Oh, what's
draw cards? Draw cards so you have as many in your hand as fusion Pokemon in play.
There we go.
Okay.
So in theory, you can draw.
Really good because you don't need to play Crobat because you got Genesect.
Right. So sell your Cricketoons. because they're never going to be needed.
Except
if you're
every
playing
deck is
Fusion.
Fusion.
But well, okay, now you have to have all the cards. Wonder if that proves my point.
Well, no, because you don't have to.
Yeah, no, so
you can
you just
play one deck into the ground forever and be fine. It depends how serious you want to play.
Boring though. That's not fun.
Well, that's your
the
problem.
meta change. We've seen on the online the meta changes rapidly.
Okay,
and then think when we go back to IRL, where it takes a while for information to disseminate to the internet to find out what the meta really is.
You could have picked up Eternatus. Still viable. Luke Metal. Luke Metal hasn't even changed a freaking card. You just added a second Zamazenta or whatever.
That's not post-row. Yeah.
Still viable.
I mean,
I'm talking about like from this rotation until the end of this set. Luke Metal, Eternatus still viable. Peak-Rom was viable most of the time. Honestly, you can still play Peak-Rom and be like, fine at this point. Like, it's not great, but it's fine. What else was good in that format?
ADP.
Mewtwo is no longer good. I'll give you that one. ADPZ? ADP.
Dark Box?
That's an entirely different deck, though. That's the issue. The Mewtwo's are still good.
But it's Mewtwo.
Yeah. So the Mewtwo's are still good, but like you need Weaviles, Moltres. It's way different than Welder.
Darkbox is a very fun deck.
It is.
Because it's not like direct as force combination as the other cards.
To go back to Pog, there's a very good chance I play Darkbox. I think people are like, oh, it only beats Shadow Rider. That's a fat lie. It beats like everything. That deck is so
It beats Luke Metal.
Oh, you body Luke Metal. You body 80.
Yeah.
Anything you can greedy crush, it's just G's.
Yeah, and everything you can if you get to turn to Dark Moon on something big.
Oh yeah.
You're never doing bad. Like
I think
you might not win, but you're not in a bad position. Because you have 6 entries in play.
The best selling point for Darkbox I have, Robin. Shout out to Robin. He was on the pod, episode 14. He just got invited to the Players' Cup Invitational. He's a 2018 world champion. He has only played Darkbox this format. He knows decks. Shintaro, world champion, runner-up in Worlds. You go to Limitless, what is he playing? About 50% of the time it's Darkbox. The other 50% he's playing like ADP. Because whatever. But he plays Darkbox a lot as well. It is a very good deck that people are afraid to admit is good because you have to think, which attack do I want to use?
I'm posting the link. Shintaro's match against Robin last night, a mirror match of the Dark Boxes. It was very fun to watch. Yeah.
I want this.
I also know in the team challenge, my team, which does include the tour for those who doesn't know, did play, I believe, Darkbox almost every single round. Might actually been every single round that Chilling Train was legal.
Because you're afraid about it. What Eternatus, unless it's not even that bad of a matchup, and Ice Rider, which is also not that bad of a matchup. And if you play Zapdos, you can beat Eternatus with no problem.
It carried almost every round, I believe.
If you think about it,
at one point it was, I believe, 9-0 in best of threes.
It's Mewtwo is the key to the thing. They've just everyone's rotated fire, lightning, grass, obviously, and now dark. The whole thing revolves around the ability of Mewtwo.
Yeah,
which is interesting because Power Plant and Path are in format.
I mean, no one touches Power Plant anymore. But yes, Path is not only format. Path is played at a decent.
Poor Path, one plant busted.
It's funny that they've always had a counter to the best card that they've printed. But going forward, we don't have weakness or bench barrier.
Oh,
are you going to say that Mewtwo and Mew
always
is not
had a counter against Mewtwo and Mew?
Yeah, always.
But it's not valid. Can we go back to Gorbis and Huntail real quick? Our counter against Single Strike and Rapid Strike. Exactly.
They're not good counters.
They're not.
That's a stage 1. And you can ping it because there's no bench barrier.
If I remember the cards correctly, they target the wrong Pokemon. It's 1 extra NG for Single Strike,
which has acceleration.
Which doesn't really matter for them. Yes, they have some, and there's ability lock for Rapid Strike.
So
if they flip these, they would actually be good because Rapid Strike cares about their NGs. Single Strike cares about their abilities.
Yes.
Right now, they just target the wrong thing.
See, so I don't think that's a valid argument for the game design of like, oh, they're making us buy the new cards. The counters aren't that good. They exist. They are technically valid if your deck has a bad matchup. Like Spiritomb would play a 1/1 Huntail or Gorbis, whichever one shuts off this quick shooting Inteleon, if you could.
You play them all. You play them all with a Zoroark.
Ooh, sorry.
You play whatever you want.
Oh wait, that's
I really like Zoroark.
You can play every and all the evolutions for whatever type you're playing against.
Yeah,
just Zoroark, whatever you want back.
To go back to it, counter Pokemon are good for the game because most of them aren't actually that good. Nothing breaks the format. Yeah. Good. I'm glad
this
except for like Mew and Genesect and Power Tablet and all that.
Yeah.
And not from all the good cards.
Borderlines.
If you don't think about the good cards, the bad cards, it doesn't change a lot.
I'm more afraid of Genesect than everything else.
Yeah.
I'm more afraid.
Mew kind of doesn't Mew just destroy both Rapid Strike and Single Strike? Maybe not Single Strike, but Rapid Strike.
Mew's weak to Dark.
What is Rapid Strike going to do? Baby. What is Rapid Strike going to do?
For weakness, sure, and maybe that gives some validity to people's tier lists that have come out and saying Rapid Strike, Moltres in anything is really good.
Yeah, but Mew is weak to Psychic.
It's weak to Psychic, not Dark.
I believe it. It's
there's no way. Pokemon. Because then you just have Mew worse.
It's weak to Dark.
Okay, yeah. I don't think.
Why would it be weak to Dark? It's a Psychic Pokemon.
That's how it works now. It's no more Psychic.
It's not weak to. It's. Are you?
I don't think any Psychic Pokemon in the Sun and Moon block have been weak to Psychic. I could be missing something, but I'm pretty sure it's all been.
Right.
Why is it weak? That doesn't make sense.
So you don't have Mewtwo Wars anymore.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it does.
It's not weak to Dark.
Why does it have fighting resistance? It's not a ghost.
Because I believe Psychic resists fighting.
This goes back to when I was.
It does resist. It does have resistance.
Yeah. No, it has resistance, but
wait, quick shout out.
Shouldn't be weak to Dark.
VGC World Champion Paul Ruiz, who just got invited to the Players Cup Invitational. When I was coaching him in TCG for the Union Cup, I blew his mind when I explained how Volcanion was both fire and water type, Volky X, and weak to itself. He was so upset at how much.
No, that's cool.
How simplified they make our weakness and resistance in this game.
Yes, because it shouldn't be weak to water. Volcanion is not weak to water.
No, it's not.
Simplified or convoluted.
Like, make it weak to electric, because it's weak to electric.
Yeah, there's the weakness.
It's like if they printed a Drampa and then made it weak to electric, because some normal types are weak to electric, even though Drampa resists electric.
Yeah, weakness resistance is just weird. Teaching a VGC player who has memorized type charts and types of every Pokemon, even though it's on the card, it's still just like Volcanion is weak to this. Yeah. It's like, no, it's 100% annoying because I have the same problem when I tried to play VGC. I'm like, all right, Colossal's fighting type. I got this. Colossal's not fighting type. That's a TC problem. It's so I get it. I understand the balancing issue, but it's so weird.
Moltres is fun though. I like Moltres.
Me too.
Really good card.
I don't like Moltres Urshifu.
It's Moltres, and then you have Urshifu because Urshifu is good.
Urshifu is very good.
So it's basically just two good cards. Let's put them together.
Bro, it's like Zoroark, except
except
no consistency.
And
it's Zoroark, but you don't get your cards.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't want to forget the fact that the V unions also exist.
Those are trash.
Oh yeah, right.
I will put my reputation on the line. The 3 V unions that have been revealed are utterly unplayable in standard.
Yeah, no, that's how.
It's like the fact that those are even going to be a thing is so just scary for the thought of what's going on at Pokemon headquarters.
That's fair. I will not argue with you on that one.
I mean,
did Team Rocket
not even
win?
That good in
Did they finally take over? Are we blasting?
They're not even that good in it. Are they not? I don't think they're that good in expanded even.
No,
because you get them out. Yeah, you get them out.
Don't leak our idea.
I think the thing about
I don't know your idea.
You don't remember it?
No.
we broke one of them.
Okay, because all I remember is that you just are able to get them in play in like one turn.
Yes.
And then they're all bad because they all have bad attacks.
Pikachu
and
is
when all your cards have bad attacks. I have not read Pikachu. I did not know Pikachu Union was a card. I never heard about it. I believe you're just making it up on the spot, Milo.
No, I'm not. It's the only one that I think is.
No one has talked about it
because it's not good.
I haven't seen it on Twitter. I haven't seen it on Pokebeat. You're making it up a card, Milo.
Okay,
straight up.
Sure.
Well, just wait for the Pikachu VMAX Union card that you get 4 more out and put it on top. It's a stage 1. Then it's gonna be busted.
No,
it just wins the game.
You know they're gonna do it. You know that they're gonna do VMAX Union. You're V Union, not VMAX Union. Come on.
Ooh, the Dream Balls are fun. The Dream Ball coming out, that's a very fun card.
That will be fun. And with the fusion stuff, if they put a fusion control sort of process in with this Smeargle, you could have a full control cycle there.
I want fusion control. I want fusion.
Yeah, which is scary.
I just want control. I don't want control back.
Because you can play it with Flannery, right? Which is
Flannery's good.
Right. The cards all exist. You have camping gear. And all the cards are already being put in place. So if they just give if they give a little fusion help to it, you could have a full control deck finally.
Yeah. Like give me Flare Grunt but for fusion, and I will be very happy.
Sure. I mean, maybe actually. I don't think that would be the worst thing in the world.
No. And also make it an item.
Control, as long as it's beatable, is a good archetype. Let's not
just give me hammer, non-flippable. That may have some fun.
So one more thing I want to talk about, even though we've kind of alluded to it, because shout out to a bunch of you who posted in the YouTube comment section. I appreciate that. Always feel free to. But a lot of you brought up the fact that you had just started playing during the V Union and or tag team era. Grant, you'd be one of those people. Last week's podcast, all 3 of us really were pretty aggressive on the Pokemon sucks right now. And I think I want to talk about why, because some of you brought that up. It's not that Pokemon sucks. If Pokemon sucked, I wouldn't play anymore. Mahone probably wouldn't play anymore. And it's his living, so maybe he would. Nikhil doesn't play, so that's not a good example. But I wouldn't play, and I sure as heck wouldn't be content creating. I'd just go do something else with my time. Pokemon's still fun. Very important. I think all 3 of us can agree with that. The fact Grant is always so angry, A, he's an angry person. But B, he likes the game. Otherwise, he wouldn't get annoyed.
I'm here, yeah.
Yeah. And Anya, I assume the same thing.
I barely play Pokemon, but sure.
That sounds right.
True.
So why are we, all the quote-unquote old heads, constantly talking about the game's not as good as it used to be? We're going to go back a handful of years. Anya already alluded to this by mentioning Zoroark GX. This is when I started playing. Zoroark GX had already come out. Zoroark GX, 210 HP as a stage 1, an absolute monster, right? Huge, nothing could KO it. Just so ridiculous to think about. But I had the ability trade, which is the same as Make Do on Cinccino, and the attack Riotous Beating for 2 colorless energies, 20 for each Pokemon of your Pokemon in play, so it could do up to 120 damage. And a GX attack.
Trade is actually better than Make Do.
Trade, that is
trade
true.
Is better than Make
the wording of trade, you can trade with a 0-card deck. You cannot make do with a 0-card deck, which is actually a very relevant and expanded at one point. But anyway, this card may help to make the format so incredibly healthy. So why was the format better before? Big reason, no 3-prizers. 3-prizers didn't immediately ruin the game. Pikarom when it came out was fine. Reshizard when it came out was fine.
Reshizard was not fine.
Reshizard was the BDIF, but it was not unbeatable at all.
Pikarom was fine.
Welder.
Pikarom was fine because Pikarom was fine because it was 240.
Yeah,
and it was 3 lightning. So you still had to get it all. They had all the support for it, Thunder Mountain and Coco. But the whole process of getting there, especially when Let Loose was still in the format.
That was another.
Made it very fair.
And they didn't have to detonate.
No.
And you had to play Zapdos.
And no Raichu
right?
Raichu. So like you literally just had Pikarom, and then you had Zapdos from Team
Coco
had-
GX.
And Coco GX.
Coco
was good.
GX
Which
was
is
so
busted.
good. Jolteon GX.
That's a very fun card.
Yeah, Zero Aura GX. The deck was good.
Aura.
Lightning Box was very good, but the card itself wasn't broken.
Yeah.
And the reason why
No.
a lot of us don't like this format as much as old formats. Pikarom, like I said, you had Pikarom, sure, but you also had Zero Aura, Jolteon, Coco, and Jolteon. Reshizard, you had Reshizard, but you also had the Arcanine you could attack with. You also had, I don't know what else they played. They played Blound GX, they played Volcanion, they played, there was something else.
Did they play Brown Chicks?
They could play
They play
Blound.
like
As a finisher.
Yeah.
There was some.
I mean, yeah.
What else was
Take
it?
a
Wasn't a pure
prize.
Reshizard deck.
Oh, Max Lax. No, not Max.
Oh yeah,
Lax.
you played Lax.
Snorlax.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Eevee.
Eevee Lax was used for the
Eevee
Zoroark
Lax was-
matchup. But anyway,
Yeah.
the reason why these formats were one of the reasons why these formats were so much more enjoyable is simply you had options you had to think about. Locke put in the Discord when I brought up this topic, current format, you have about 40 or 50 options per game. That's a lot. These formats, you had hundreds of options per game. You had to think about, it's not just, oh, my opponent's playing Pikarom, they're going to full blitz into Tandem Shot. That's it. Like, there's no real other option they're going to do. Versus you're playing against Pikarom before, are they going to Plasma Fist me? Are they going to whatever Coco GX attack? You know, they had E-powers. You had a lot of things to think about. What is my opponent going to do? Versus Ice Rider, you're like, are they going to ride to the High King or are they going to Max Lance? There's just not many options when you're playing or playing against these decks. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of us are like, the format's worse now. Eternatus,
Also, like,
I'm going to hit Dread End. That's it. You're not going to attack with anything else. You're going to Dread End every turn.
And like the Lock said in the server earlier, is that most of your matchups are rehearsed already.
Yes.
You have about 50 decisions a game, and then half of them you should already know going into the game.
Yes.
Because there's no unique positions. You should have seen most positions that you would naturally get into in like 5 testing games.
Yes, because every deck is whatever the deck is named after is the attacker.
Yeah.
And they have 1 or 2 attacks, and you know they're going to do one of those 2 attacks. That's one of the reasons the game is so different. And even, let's ignore the tag teams. I was using that as the example of like 3 prizers didn't immediately ruin the game, then rotation happened and stuff happened. But before that, like you had options. Buzzrock was a good deck. Buzzwole GX, Baby Buzzwole was there at one point. Lycanroc GX. Pre-rotation, you had some other cute stuff. You could play the Mew from Fates Collide that could copy any basic Pokemon on the field. You had the Pseudo-Wudo as well. Like, you had a bunch of options in the deck. Zoroark, same thing. You had Riotous beating on Zoroark, but what did you play it with? If your opponent started Zorua and you went first, you didn't know what they played. They could be playing, they had Zoroark. Is it Golisopod? Is it Lycanroc? Is it Gardevoir? Is it Control? These are all very different for what you're going to do. You don't know what are they going to attack with. They have Dangerous Rogue GX and Claw Slash and Riotous beating and Energy Drive on Lele. And Flying Flip on Coco was another one that you could show up out of nowhere. And Mewtwo Psychic pre-rotation from Evolution. Like, there's just so many options. Exactly, as Buzzwole. Weakness wasn't an issue. I mean, it was an issue, but you could outplay weakness. Your 2 prizers, yes, they would get KO'd easily, but you had counterplay. You had options. You weren't automatically like, my Eternatus into an Urshifu. Like, maybe I win, but by turn 2, you know if you win or lose that game. Buzzwole against Zoroark, fighting against Dark, same thing. You did not know who was going to win after a few turns because there were just so many options. There were so many cards. There's so many things you can do. Ignore N. Even after N rotated, there were just a ton of different things that you could do against weakness that made it entirely different game. Every game had a bunch of decision. Every game had just decisions on both ends that made the game so much more interactive. Versus now, just like Anya said, you kind of know how the matchups are going to go. Like, you know that Shadow Rider is going to horror house you into, you know, whatever they're going to do. They're going to Poltergeist, or they're going to, what's Shadow Rider's attack called? Max Geist?
Astral Geist?
whatever Shadow Rider attack, like they're going to do one of two attacks. And once they don't poltergeist, they're just attacking with Shadow Rider every single turn. You can't even pick the wrong attack. It's got one attack. Like, that's just such a huge difference. And one of the reasons why the game is considered now worse than it was before. There's just less choices because it's my deck is named after this. I'm going to attack with this. It's a 3-prize Pokemon. We're going to smash our 3 prizes into each other and hope for the best.
I will say there is nuance with the Shadow Rider. Now adding the cake, which is interesting that such a crappy set and tough to come by. Have you seen any Champion's Path out there for sale? Like when you go to the store, like you have a vending machine.
Yeah, it's never in there. Every other set is there, except Shining Fates too.
Fair, but that's reprints usually. The cake, there's such a nuance to how to play Shadow Rider, and now everyone knows how to do it. It's like, is it the best post row? I don't know.
There is, to give some love to Shadow Rider, it's really important. This is one deck that, like, you can tell the difference between a good player and a bad player. Watching Azul play it, where he's like, I'm not going to Underworld Door my last 2 energy because I don't want to get stamped and have nothing to draw with. A lot of people watching him are like, you forgot to Underworld Door. Why didn't you do that? And then he explains the same thing he explains every single time he plays the deck because people aren't picking it up. So sure, there are some nuances there. It's kind of like Drizzile. A good Ice Rider player will play better than a bad Ice Rider player.
Okay, so to flip my own myself, sorry, Anya, to flip my own argument about the whole thing, maybe the format is teaching us to become better players overall. The little nuances before they figure out a set, or the after all this styles and strikes done, where we're better at decision making, right?
Yes. I mean,
maybe,
there is a difference.
That's what they're trying to condition us for, other than all the crap that's just in general right now.
I mean, that's obviously not true, but you
No,
can get better. I know you're trying, but there is a chance to get better. Like, there is a difference between the good player and the bad player and the great player, right? Like, there are decisions. Most of them have been made for you, but there is little stuff here and there that you can kind of pick apart. And like, I'm not going to KO the Sobble because it doesn't help my prize trade. Sick. That's an important decision sometimes, right? But it's also like, there's just so few of those decisions.
Yeah, I think Locke's saying it pretty good. You can get better.
Yeah.
Can you? I don't know. Maybe that's
I can.
The fallacy of Pokemon is the illusion that you can get better if you keep playing and keep buying cards.
As someone who goes into random Twitch streams, I like to watch the TCG. Honestly, I like to steal ideas too. So
I always have a Twitch stream up.
I do too. And the TCGs, most of the time, I've been watching more Unite lately because I suck and I want to get better. But there are a lot of people who you just watch them and you're like, no. Like, every single move they're doing is incorrect. It's not like, oh, they made a misplay. It's like, you're just making it worse. And I've done this on stream too. I call myself out constantly though. So at least at the very least, I'm like, oh wait, that was stupid.
You're good about that.
You watch people and they're like, oh God, no. And then they're like, oh, I whiffed. And it's like, you didn't have to whiff. Like, you had it all there. So yes, there is plenty of ways to improve.
Well, it was a classic Mellow had the tunnel vision, right?
Yes.
It was the Spiritomb stuff. Like, here's my only path to win, and there's 3 others sitting in front of you.
Yep.
Like, I gotta find this one path, and that might just be because you're also streaming, which is really tough to do, to play competitive and stream.
To an extent, yes. Like, I'm definitely a much better player not streaming, but I will still misplay while not streaming, of course.
So like, a few weeks ago, I found something interesting, because a few weeks ago I played the drinking game with my friends, and we have 2 people that almost did not know how to play the card game. And they played Shadow Rider versus Ice Rider, in which we decided that Shadow Rider is an easier deck to play than Ice Rider. It was Ice Rider Chinchino, for just clarification.
I would agree with that statement. right?
Yeah. After the game, we realized that Shadow Rider, for someone that doesn't know how to play the game, is way harder to play because there's so many decisions. You need to know when, because using the ability is not as easy as you, and getting the Pokemon you need is not as understood if you don't already know how to do that. Ice Rider is setting up a Pokemon and then just attacking with that. There's somehow less decision when you're making a lot of, when every decision is big. Ice Rider needs less decision to misplay. Like it's easier to do the correct play with Ice Rider than for Shadow Rider.
I think that's a good point, actually. I hadn't thought about that, but the amount of board setup you have to do and the amount of technically sequencing you're supposed to do to optimally play Shadow Rider is there's actually stuff there versus I'm gonna Melanie and attach, which is a very obvious combo, and then ride the High King.
Yeah, that's why I think you see a lot of people on Twitter, hyping the Ice Rider deck so hard early on, because it's actually easier to play, and
it was also way easier to optimize those lists.
I think Ice Rider is harder to play. I think Ice Rider is harder to play
at a top level.
When you
at
the top level,
Yes.
Shadow Rider is, like, for me, very easy because I understand how to do it correctly. But that's because I already have that underlying understanding of the game and how to play the deck.
I think, though, the idea is Ice Rider is so easy to hype because it's easy to pick up and to play well enough. The power level's high. Most of the time, even if you Drizzile I've seen people Drizzile for the wrong things, and it didn't matter whatsoever. It's like, oh, if they Drizzle for a Melanie and then Evo Incense, and they're just like, I'm going to Drizzle for a Research. Like, that was stupid, but okay. And then, they still pull it out in the end. It's like, because the deck just hits really hard, really fast, which is fine.
Yeah.
I think a big part too of like booze why people are hyping up Ice Rider, because the list was so easy to optimize, or nearly optimize. Like even my first draft of Ice Rider and Teleon wasn't that far off, and I'm a god awful deck builder. Versus the Shadow Rider build, everyone's like, you play Trevnor and 4 Marnies and Path of the Peak. It's like, that sucks. And they're like, you play Aurora Energies, and it's like, no, you don't. Like now we've seen they're starting to. I mean, I understand meta, blah blah blah, but like, we started to see them become a little more optimized because people are like, oh wait, if we take all the cool stuff out, this deck is pretty good.
I like Ice Rider Shinshino though. That deck is very fun.
You play the Frostlass?
Yeah.
Good. That was when I played it. That was the one reason I was like, maybe this is better.
Oh yeah, that's why we play.
Yeah, because you already want to use nets.
Just being able to heal or buff at the same time you attack is very good.
Yes, I 100% agree.
I'm pro Frostlass.
I am too. In the Cinchino version, the other version you just
you can't play it.
Yeah.
I wish you did. Yeah, you pull off one Cheryl in that.
That would be a lot of cards.
Yeah,
that would be a lot of cards.
I alluded to it today. There was no Midas, but I've been theorizing a lot of Cheryl stuff, and Frostlass has been integral to how you can make that work.
Yeah,
to be aggressive. I'm not trying. Hey, I'm not trying to do a mellow. Let's get a Metagross deck and Cheryl. It was bad.
God, that deck.
Nah, that's fun. That's fun. You can use a new tool card, the mask card.
Yeah, sure.
That's fun. You just make them discard one card every time they attack, and you heal a lot.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the one that's like minus 20 damage.
No,
that thing sucks.
No.
Okay, I support that. No. Yeah, the one where they pick a card.
You play the one they have to.
Yeah. Okay.
Come on, Kevin.
It's not gloves. It's mask.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What's interesting too, to go back to the why the game was better before. Let's talk about Ultra Ball real quick. Ultra Ball discarding 2 cards. The Gym Leader Challenge format is showing this too. It's really difficult to discard 2 cards from your hand early game. And the Gym Leader Challenge format, I've built decks and had a lot of people like Ultra Ball sucks. You can't discard resources. And it's like, you get any Pokemon. The card is clearly very good. It is such a skillful interaction to know what to discard. And the problem is right now, most of the time you quick ball for a Dedenne. So you're like, whatever. Get rid of whatever I want. Who cares? But like, I think Ultra Ball is another card that was just very good to have exist because it just required so much thought of like, I want a Pokemon, but I have to discard 2 cards from my hand, which is a massive cost. That was an interesting
Also, one thing that I've thought about was Verseeker. Because you play less supporter if you play Verseeker, obviously, because you had a lot of the ability to supporter. But it made Verseeker a resources that you needed to keep in the late game as well. It made a card that was your gust, your utility, and your draw. So the card was so good that you needed to play it well because it was a scarce resource.
Yes. The other thing to go off of that too, some of the cool supporters that were viable. Like right now, you're like, I'm just going to play 4 research for Marnie. But like Teammates. Teammates is such a cool card. You'd never play 4 Teammates.
Yeah.
But you could play a 1 of Teammates and be like, I can just VS Seeker for it whenever I want. I mean, okay, yes, there are some decks that exist where you would want 4 Teammates. But Teammates, something was knocked out last turn, search your deck for any 2 cards, put them into your hand. Ridiculously powerful. Not good most of the time. But with VS Seeker in format, it was a very good card to have. Delinquent is another one where you take a 1 Delinquent and you could really catch your opponent off guard. Just discard a Stadium, your opponent discards 3 cards from their hand. And it was really frustrating because you had to play around it. You could never go down to less than 3 card hand. Something like that existed now. I'm going to take a knockout with a 0 card hand, but I get 3 prizes and one of them's probably a Dedenne. Could you imagine just pop a Delinquent on someone and you're like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, no, Delinquent stat.
It was a good, fair card. And I bodied a lot of people in Expanded Zoro Garb. Not by doing the combo. They played themselves down to 3 cards, and it was like,
oh, yeah.
You shouldn't have done that. But thank you. And then you just win the game, right? It was such a cool way to punish people being overly aggressive.
Yeah, and it was locked list as well. So you always kind of have to, do I think they play Delinquents?
Yep.
And play around it, maybe not play around it if you thought they probably don't. So created positions where you needed to play correctly instead of positions you just needed to play circa correctly.
Yes. There are just so many more decisions of stuff like that were also, they just kept it interesting versus 4 research, 4 Dedenne, 4 boss, 4 Marnie. I'm sure I'm going to draw what I need, right? And you usually do, because you just play a bunch of 4-0s. Which,
well,
yeah.
Well, an interesting thing that we'll see that happens in the future here, if we ever get back to IRL, and I don't want to name drop, but somebody said they don't foresee it coming in the future, the near future, but the open and closed deck list is an interesting dynamic that we have right now as far as like being able to tech and be creative in deck lists. How can you put these techs in? And some of them don't exist, I guess, yet. But we're starting to see things happen. Do you play the Frostlass? You don't know it until they put down the Snob or whatever it's called, the Snow Runt.
Yeah.
That's his name. So you plan for what we know right now. When you see an archetype, you basically know what you're getting. You don't even need the open deck list.
Oh yeah.
And then you look for like 1 or 2 cards.
Yeah.
There's no creativity really in the game right now. I feel like it's kind of been stifled and we're all streamlined playing the same sort of things. And you see something different and it's like the only way I lose is if I draw bad.
Yeah.
Bro, Tomb, baby. People start playing Tomb.
That would exactly.
Shout out to David Hendrickson also. I don't know who you are, but you're single-handedly the person who I am rooting for at every single tournament. The person who's like constantly, if you see a tomb in top 8, it's David Hendrickson. Because there's like 2 tombs in every tournament, and they are usually one of them. To go back to the decks that our people aren't playing. Sorry to interrupt, but that was the perfect time to shout out Tomb.
No, that was about the end of my discussion.
Yeah,
there. No. I just think that's something that we take for granted at this point.
I want to address a question in Twitch chat too, real quick. Logo says, so what makes Pokemon TCG fun these days? Is it because it's ingrained in us? There is, I will 100% admit, there is a small amount of me that's like, I have friends here. I enjoy it. I enjoy the characters. I'm going to keep playing.
Yeah.
But as a whole, the game is still enjoyable. The game is still fun. I like to play Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
There's still thought. There's still decisions. It's just like one of those, like, there could be more decisions. Like, I'd like to think more in the game, but it is still like, it's not, I have a hammer and a circle and I'm going to put in the circle thing. Like, I'm not playing ADP, right? It's not that easy.
Here's an example. I'm going to use barbecue, I guess. You've had the best barbecue in your life. And you think about it all the time, but you still go out for barbecue, but it's never that good, but you still enjoy it when you're eating it. Yeah. But it's not the best you've had. You're like, if I could only have that again, I would be so much happier. You're still happy.
Yeah.
We're still eating. We're happy. We're getting full.
Yeah.
But we've seen what better could be. And we want to see what better could be in the future as well. Because there's so many different, now there's new Pokemon, new trainers, new mechanics, and we've learned from the past what could be possible. And now it seems like it's being, in my opinion, stifled by just the stagnant, let's throw it into 3 different cylinders and see what happens here. And we're limiting the creative cards in these fusion battle styles. What would happen? A good question would be, what would happen if we removed the tags on some of those cards, and what would the format look like? And that might be an IRL thing in the future. You just take a Sharpie over it.
I think it's impossible because Houndoom becomes worthless, which means every single strike attacker becomes
Houndoom
Octillery,
yes. Houndoom Octillery.
But Octillery just searching for a card. Octillery just searches for any card.
Because
that would be Flannery, I'd be for that.
Yeah, no. I would be down. That would actually be fun though.
I think Flannery and Bruno are still good because you have Lantern.
But like, what if Lantern
in the future and expanded and stuff like that? You have Versus Seeker specifically for those cards.
Yeah.
But like, on the other hand, I don't need to get Karina's focus back. But I'd like to be able to. What would just a Karina's focus for that? Things like that. It would be interesting to see if they actually showed some actual depth in their touch to building the card game. And who knows how far ahead they plan. We've heard in the past 1 or 2 years. Yeah. If this is what 2 years looks like, I'm scared.
I think it's going to be fine. I think the Sword and Shield block is planned out to be fine. I'm not worried about this. So right now it sucks because tag teams exist. The current Sword and Shield cards, the current VMAXs also have this awkward level of they have to hit 270. You mentioned Rillaboom VMAX earlier. Card never stood a chance because it's got to hit this tag team number in order to slightly be viable. I hope they're going to move away from that of like tag teams or VMAXs have to hit this number. That way they can compete with tag teams and knock them out of the format. And it's going to be like 180 on Coco or Malamar is fine.
Yeah, if they keep the attacks to the 150, 180, like, unless you do so much to build up, like the Cake and the Shadow Rider, where you lay it on, or Ice Rider, you have to play a supporter to hit 250. Like, to do things to get to these numbers that aren't even enough to one-shot your opponent. that at least creates decisions, which is fun.
Yes.
Makes you think a little bit.
Ready for some questions from Twitch?
Which I'm not good at thinking, so I don't know why I'm complaining.
There's only one way to get better at that.
Yeah, now I'm ready.
All right.
Yeah.
So we got some questions from Twitch chat. Professor Elm asks, if Pog were to happen this year, which it is.
Pog is happening.
Do you believe the need for Pog will be there once Worlds returns?
No.
No, not at all.
I agree. I think, especially knowing the people behind Pog are actual judges. I'm not saying not all online tournaments don't have real judges, but they don't. Pog does have real judges. They will not be doing this when World is there.
And shout out to the man Neil Pye.
Big shout out. The Sunday Open there's a reason the Sunday Open has been around for so long.
Yeah.
Neil Pye is a real judge. So are several other people on that squad.
Mel, didn't you win a Sunday Open?
I did. Back a while ago, technically. It was actually about a year ago by now. No,
Congrats.
over a year ago with Luke Medal. You'll love to see it.
I don't think online tournaments is going to be that big of a thing when IRL is back, like, fully.
I'd agree.
I also agree.
I don't think people have the need to play Pokemon that much when there's not a pandemic.
No, because
right now people have a lot of time to play Pokemon.
Exactly.
I'd say shameless plug, but this is mostly my podcast, so correct plug. On my YouTube channel, I just put out a video talking with 3 people who are in their Worlds invite for the quote-unquote 2020 World season. The amount of time that they put in to every single cup, driving, playing, driving back, etc. I don't think competitive players are going to want to spend a weekday also playing an entire, 9-round Swiss, in addition to drive 2 hours to a cup, play for 8 hours, drive 2 hours home. Like, I think a lot of people who think online will exist, either A, they don't have IRL, which I hope there's something for them, for sure. But B, the people who do have IRL, they forget just how draining League Cups and regionals are on your time, and that you just don't have that time anymore when you're away from a pandemic.
Yeah.
Lo Frizz asks, can you teach me how to Dougie? No, I'm a terrible dancer. Bro, have you never heard the song on you?
No.
I know you're a child, but
it's here's the lyrics. Teach me how to Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie. All my homies love me. All my homies love me.
It's a good song. Shout out to Cali Swag District who sings Teach Me How to Dougie.
Yeah.
Definitely a one-hit wonder, but no, I'm a terrible dancer. Like really bad. Like, white people can't dance. Multiply that by 4. And that's where I'm at.
A tall white person, especially.
Exactly. It doesn't look good.
Oh yeah, Melo is tall.
Stellar Wish asks, with Professor's research, Professor Oak revealed for Celebration, what is the correct professor to play? So as a reminder, we have Magnolia, we have Juniper, we have Willow, we have Oak. There's no Juniper or Sycamore, correct?
No.
Okay, so we have those 4. I'm Team Oak because I'm actually 85 years old and grew up with Gen 1. So Oak.
I have never heard of Willow.
Willow's from Pokemon Go. Oh,
I've got my Willow.
Let's go. I need to get mine.
Ooh.
I ordered
I will probably play Research. Just Magnolia because I have
research.
for Magnolia. Yeah.
Oh wait,
the real one.
Yeah,
the real
that's a
one.
good point.
I'm gonna play the ones I have.
The Oak looks so good.
I might mix art if I don't find for Magnolia.
I will open Celebration though. Of all the sets, I do want to open Celebration. So if I pull any, I'll play them. But yeah, like Anya, I'm not going to go out and buy. I play 4 mismatched Switch because I don't want to buy more Switch. It's going to be the same thing with Research.
I play 2 switches of one art and then 2 switches of another art.
Yeah, because why would you buy more?
Yeah.
So I like flat art.
Buy Switch.
The flat art. So in the original toolkit, you got Magnolia.
Yes.
and Marnie's, and then in the new toolkit, I got the Juniper. So I have 4 of them. I got 2 boxes.
Go.
I'm still probably gonna play the Magnolia, I think, until the Oak, because was it hollow? It didn't look hollow because he's like riding onto the card, which looked really cool. But I'll probably play 4 of those. And then I was also thinking today, and this might be a bit of an aside, but I bought gold, rapid, and single strikes because I thought, what's the important thing? At least on single strike, because I plan on no lakes, bringing back single strike here in the near future, and then for IRL, easier to find them, to just see the 4 gold cards, and that's your only non, flat card. So
that's legitimately very good advice.
Yeah, I usually go for my tech card as a different touch, like especially like gold or something, because I want to find the tech. Like, okay, do I have the tech card? That's what I usually want to find fastest.
Sure.
It's like a one of stamp is good to have gold.
Shout out to bringing single strike back. So I've been streaming the Tabletop Village Standard Tournament every Friday. Our local meta, Seattle's always had a weird local meta. It's never been normal. It's never been like any other region. But Jake, who I know listens to the pod, might be in chat right now. He had an Aegislash in his Luke medal. I'm like, cut that. Everyone here texts for Decidueye. He's like, no one else texts for Decidueye. And it's like, half of the field is Rapid Strike Malamar, Catterday, and Single Strike. Everyone texts for Decidueye. So shout out to the Seattle meta, mostly being Catterday, Rapid Strike Malamar, and Single Strike decks for no good reason whatsoever.
Imagine not just hitting control every round.
No,
it's a weird meta.
If anyone plays control here, it's probably going to be me or Jake from Vancouver drove down. Those are the 2 people who are going to play control.
Yeah, no, everyone's going to play control. No way.
Also, anyone who's listening to this, your local meta is very weird. Not always, but very often your local meta is not going to be what you think it is. Remember to tech for your local meta, not the one that you expect at a regional or that they tell you on a meta discussion on a YouTube channel. Because, like I said, the Seattle meta has always been really awkward. At one point, Sun and Moon Lost Thunder, you are likely going to hit multiple Meganium decks during every single League Cup. Which,
yeah,
sure.
Okay, you guys have weird tournaments.
I missed 1 week, and it was before the Shadow Rider was legal, and I ordered the Shadow Riders, and I was like, I'll bring Shadow Rider. I don't think everyone plays Eternatus, or they're gonna move off of it. We'll see what happens. And I showed up, and everyone had the Shadow Rider. Like, nobody brings a new decks, and then it makes you think like, okay, this pandemic actually does make people want to get new cards right away. So you have to be cutting edge at this point for my local meta, I guess.
It's funny because that's true here also. Like Shadow Rider, Ice Rider, people bought them immediately as soon as they were good.
Yeah.
I'm the exact opposite. I just got my stuff for Inteleon Max. That's where I'm at. I'm 26 metas behind on ordering my cards.
Well, if Mike Fouché would commend you on that.
I think post rotation, you have to play something that snipes. You don't have to, but like
but like the new Inteleon.
You play the new
one. You play the good one.
Well, you play both, right? That's the so you have
why
to
though? Why not just play the good one? You don't need to play the bad one.
It's there
if
for
you
the
have a
ability,
good one,
right?
That's a Grant rant for another day.
That's actually a really good one.
Where's the new Inteleon?
And Gengar.
Where's Gengar? Yeah. That's all I want Gengar, and I can't wait for Umbreon.
Slapjacks 13 asks.
Single strike.
Is that your answer to Slap's question?
Send him back to space.
What is everyone's favorite frozen dessert?
Chocolate chip ice cream. Chocolate chunk ice cream.
Frozen dessert.
Mine is frozen yogurt as long as I get all those toppings. And then
Oh, you're froyo by weight.
Oh yeah, and I always spend like $20 on the thing. It
Yeah.
always goes way over that. I am their target customer. I get ripped off every time, but I want it. It's so good.
That's a good one.
I think it's just ice cream, and then it depends on if I have something with it or not. The best dessert like ever is kladdkaka with vanilla ice cream.
That wasn't a word.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kladdkaka. It's Swedish.
You just made sounds with your mouth.
It's like a
elaborate.
chocolate cake. It's a chocolate cake, but it's really gooey.
Ooh.
It's like claddy.
Chocolate cake would work.
Gooey works.
Yeah, but then it's not just the chocolate cake.
What differentiates it other than the goo?
Well, that's just a lava cake. Right?
That is way better.
Yeah, and a cooked chocolate cake.
You all need to come to Norway or Sweden. And then
I'm planning a trip for sure.
I was watching.
Yeah, I'm going to
watching Tord this morning, and he's like, I told Said you should get euros, and he's like, oh, we don't really have food here. I'm like, oh, remind me to never visit you. And then he's like, we have really tasty water though. That's the selling point of Norway. What?
I mean,
have you ever had fresh water?
I've been drinking our tap water like this entire podcast.
Yeah. Have you ever had really fresh water?
That's not like the go-to.
I don't think you understand how good it is.
I mean,
I don't.
Because I have tasted other water. It's horrible. It's undrinkable. I don't know how people drink it.
All right.
And that's like Sweden I'm talking about now.
Tord is still streaming, by the way.
Swedish,
right. Good for him. Road trip to
Swedish water
Norway.
is not good.
We're gonna drink some water.
Yeah, we're heading out there. But also, so you said euro to Tord?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't really use euros in.
And
Norway.
you won't get halal guys, even after my recommendation.
Is good.
I have to. I love euros. Euros are my favorite food.
Combo plate.
Every time
with the white sauce, you're gonna love it.
If my wife's like, "What do you want for dinner?" I'm like, "Euros," and then she's like, "Okay, let's pick something else." It's like,
what is a euro? Wait, what is a euro?
It's heaven.
Shaved meat.
Lamb usually.
Shawarma.
Yeah.
Oh. Wait.
It's all the same thing.
Why do you call it euro?
That's what it's called. Why do you call chocolate cake Klafka?
It's not just a chocolate cake. It's not
gooey.
It's
cake. Gooey.
No, you don't understand how good it is because it's better than any other thing, like any other cake.
Sure.
Next question.
Miss Oda King asks, what is your favorite Zoroark deck? Oh my gosh, so the whole time I was talking about Zoroark, I never mentioned my favorite Zoroark deck, which is Zorogarb. I was always like, rock,
wait, it's not Zork Gyarados? It has Gyarados.
No, that was fun, but
Kevin.
Zorogarb got me a top 128, top 64, and top 16 at regions. I can't say no.
Yeah, but Gyarados.
Yeah,
Gyarados.
It's your favorite Pokemon, and you're just gonna throw it out the window.
Kevin.
Literally half the regionals I've been to, I've played Zorogarb. That's almost half.
Fair.
Almost half, I guess. 3 out of 7.
All right.
I'm a big fan of Garb as well. And it's either Zoro Control. No, I like them all. I don't think it's Zoro Control, actually. I think it's Zorogarb.
Zorogarb is Zoro Control. Just different.
Zorogarb or Pikarom?
Oh, Zorogarb.
Oh.
Yeah, that deck was just so much fun. I love with Delinquent. I had a Bunnelby in there. It was good, man. It was good.
I like Stefan's OCIC deck.
Oh yeah. Ooh, Zork Checkmate was fun. Zork Checkmate was fun.
I never played.
I thought it was a really cool deck with a Dugong.
I mean, yeah. Ooh, I like Zork Dugong as well.
That's too big brain for me.
I once played to a cup, like actual cup. I played Zorak Dugong. I think I only had a 1/1 Dugong line, or maybe a 2/2, and I also only had 2 triple engines.
That So you just had to hope.
I was not. Yeah, I didn't work. I got top 4.
Well, yeah, you only have to. You can wait for a long time. Let them take all the prizes.
Yeah, but the thing, it wasn't played. I just wasn't able to get all 4 triple NGs.
I think I've told
Well,
the story.
I played the Psychic and the Lightning NG in my deck for the Dena GX and Lele GX.
Good. Tapu Cure broken.
Interesting.
Actually, Tapu Cure was a really broken attack. Another plus for Zoro Guard. That was
Tapu Cure is really good.
It was also good for the if there were actually very little control that tournament, but if I faced control, my Guru had basic NGs, which is good.
Yes, that is ridiculously important. Because a good control player is
just
just
need
like
it.
Baba,
You didn't need it.
Baba.
It's very nice. Yeah. I mean, it was actually very simple matchup for Zerk. You didn't always win, but it was simple to play. You just, if they Stevens, you judge. If they don't Stevens, you attack. And you use Guru when you judge. That's just how you play that matchup.
Easy.
It's actually a good lesson.
Yeah, no, you didn't always, it wasn't easy in the way that you always won it. It was just easy that you didn't think a lot.
Well, now it'll be when you Marnie, you Smeargle.
I don't think Smeargle can get back Marnie, but okay.
No, but we'll see what else they come out with Fusion.
Oh,
but...
yeah. Give me a versus Seeker for Fusion.
I gotta convert you to single strike. It's
single strike.
No.
We have versus Seeker. We have Flannery.
I have been looking at single strike control.
Yeah, it's there. I mean,
it's if we get some more cards.
Sander was advocating that the idea is there.
Yeah, that's why I was inspired by Sanders saying
Sander, friend of the program. Go check out that episode on YouTube.com/Mellow Magikarp.
It's youtube.com/C/Mellow Magikarp. I don't know why, but I did get a vanity URL, which is very exciting.
Hell yeah!
Ooh.
Right?
Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe.
And if you're on iTunes, be sure to leave a review as well.
We should do a read review.
Yeah, but then I have to log into iTunes. Oh, Garchomp mentions in chat ZDT, Zoroark Decidueye Ninetales. That's not my favorite, but I really like Feather Arrow. Feather Arrow and Ninetales ability. Very fun.
Yeah, it was fun, but that format I had Gramble.
Okay, that's fair.
Which was very fun because I love Gramble. Gramble, very fun deck.
Sun and Moon Lost Thunder was fun. That was a very fun format.
Gramble.
We should run another 17 format. Thinking about it now, I really no, that was 18. But when we started doing the 17, I really enjoyed that deck with the Ninetales as the auxiliary attacker, and then realized Ninetales is really good, and then broke Ninetales, obviously.
Zoroark.
Oh yeah, when we played 2017 NAIC.
Yeah.
That was a fun format. Like I see people on Twitter give it hate recently because Rare Candy put out the tweet, "What format do you think is overrated?" And people are like, "I hate playing against Trashalanche." It's like, just don't play your items, dude. It's really easy.
Yeah.
That's why the format is fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
That format would not be fun without Trashalanche.
Like the finals. The finals was Xander against... No, not finals. It was top 4. Xander against... Was it Kika? I think. In the SB Garb mirror match. They both played. So Trashalanche did not KO the other Trashalanche, even with weakness. That's how you play that format. Not by vomiting everything everywhere. That's why you don't think it's fun. Because, I mean, maybe because you want to vomit. If you want to vomit all your items in the discard, yes, 2017 NAIC is not for you. But if you want to have to, think about the resources you use, heck yeah. I love that format. Just for that reason.
I know we got the, and I'll have to shout it out so Evie doesn't get mad at me. We got our invite coming up for Sword and Shield On, We're still working out some of the invites. There's going to be some interesting stuff that comes up, maybe some extra content and maybe an LCQ. Thinking about that. But and I have to do a lot of pricing for that. But I would love to do another 2017, and I could give out hundreds of Viv packs. I will. I'd love to prize that. Viv and Battle Styles packs. Easy pricing.
I like the idea of an LCQ.
You remember me playing Zorro card in 2017 in the IC?
Yeah. I can't believe I lost it.
Really bad, but it was very fun. Kevin lost. Good night.
Bro, that was another cool thing about that format. I put a float stone on the wrong Pokemon on turn 2. And that was the difference maker. Could you imagine putting an air balloon on the wrong Pokemon and losing because of it in this format? Like that's
not if you play 4.
You play 4 switch on everything.
You play four balloon and a scrapper.
All right. Get Wrecked asks, is it just me? And it is, because this is a bad question. Does Genesect have the best ability we've seen in the last at least 10 years?
Possibly.
No.
I like Zork's ability.
Yes.
Like you could discard a card from your hand and then you just drew 2 cards. That was pretty good.
Trade was better. Wonder Tag was better. Setup was better. Day-to-Day Change is better. I don't like Day-to-Day Change existing, but Day-to-Day Change is one of the most broken abilities of all time. Like
Mew 3 also has pretty good ability.
Yes, Mew EX is another one within the last 10 years that was really good.
Even simple thing like Coco.
Oh yeah. I mean that's not as good ability.
But simple things are probably better than that.
Yeah. I mean Genesect really good ability, but it doesn't allow the same thing as Zorak allowed.
The issue
if you want to do,
you can't
draw because you have to play 4 Mew, a Hoopa, another Genesect to make it work.
Oh, Propagate. Propagate of the non-consistency options, Propagate is broken.
Propagate pretty good too, yeah.
The reason Genesect is not the best ability is because you cannot thin your hand. There is no Ultra Ball. You have Quick Ball, and that's it. So you have to hope
the cards hammers. You can just play your hammers.
Oh my god, no. But you have to hope the cards you can draw into are playable so you can use another Genesect. It's like you never played more than one Abyssal hand, even when Ultra Ball existed, right? Even if you had 2/2 Octillery line, you set up 1. Genesect is better because it's a basic. It is potentially an extra card. It does stack on top of itself. But without the ability to thin your hand, I don't think it is broken in this format. If they reprint Ultra Ball, heck yeah, that card is ridiculous. But until they give us ways to thin our hand, it's a very good ability, but it's not broken. But it's very good, and I'm very worried that it is going to be too strong.
Yeah, it's very good, but I would rather if Genesect had Zork's ability rather than its own, it would be a better ability.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So, yeah.
What about oppressive abilities? Vileplume, Hoopa.
Yeah, Vileplume probably better. I don't think Hoopa is better.
But
I mean, really good, obviously.
Vileplume still played today and expanded.
Yeah, Vileplume's insane.
So get out of here, get wrecked. I'm banning you. Actually, I'll just time you out.
Professor Poke asks the same question every week, but Anya, this one's for you mostly, I guess. Control post rotation.
Maybe.
That's the most encouraging answer we've given, Professor, in the past.
No, we have Slurpuff, which is interesting, but I believe we need more cards because we lose the chip lock thing, which is what it mainly has been currently. We also lose Muck and Munchlax. So you don't really have the cards you need to control your opponents. You just kind of have the ability to get them back, which doesn't really work if you can't play them in the first place.
Do you think it starts with Ascension? Wheezing? Like just a
Potentially.
ability lock to start.
That slows them down, but where do you attack? Like where do you pressure them? We don't have pressure. We need to attack to pressure them.
But right now, setup is so convoluted and clunky. It's how do you get there? Like that's a good start, especially everything being item based. Crobat, Octillery, Inteleon.
Yeah, no. We might see some like soft control, like I don't know, Vikavolt or
that too.
Like, where you're gonna win on damage. Where you're gonna win on damage, but you try to slow them down.
Sure.
But I think if we are gonna get a control deck, I assume it's gonna somehow use Zork. I think Zork is really good for control, because it allows for a lot of different combinations without you using too many of your deck spaces for it. I don't think we currently have the Pokemon to control that we need to create a deck. Sander might be able to.
No, I agree. I think I've been trying to think about Zoroark a lot, and I'm sure we'll just have to wait and see what Sander says, and it'll be the guidance that we need, just like Orbeetle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even if I were a good deck builder, Sander is a great deck builder. So wait for the master. Because I built Orbeetle too. My Orbeetle deck was not anywhere near as good as Sander. So yeah, it's you can know cards are good, but then it's different to put them together. You also have to know what the meta is. It's really hard to say yes, control is going to be good when you don't know what you're countering. Because Handlock's the only thing that like you didn't care what you were countering because it was just that good. And Dollstall, yes, Dollstall was another one that
like Florges. Floorspec.
Right.
Deck.
They were just as soon as Alter Creation existed, you're like, all right, I'm gonna add Power Plant and Latios, and that was like the only changes you had to do, right? And it was.
I mean, that was the only.
That was the same format. Yeah, they both came out together.
Yeah.
And for anyone wanting to learn how to do this, go back and check out episode 15, 14, 15 with Sander, where he talks all about it for 3 hours. So
yeah, that was a
learn how to build a control deck. Yeah, that's a really good one.
Speaking of 3 hours, we are coming up on that 90-minute mark, so we're almost at 2 hours. I wanted this to be less time, man.
What's wrong with you?
One day
we could do this.
Yeah, no.
One day we're gonna have shorter.
Like I've just started.
Yeah, I'm warming up, baby. It's all night party.
Yeah.
You got all night party with you.
Yeah, no. Like I'm gonna go 10 more hours at least.
What's the next question, Mello? Come on, Kevin.
Come on.
The last question.
Next.
Giroxable says, how do you measure the height of a Magikarp? From top to bottom or from mouth to tail?
It's a fish.
Mouth to tail? It's a fish. Like,
it's a fish. Bad question.
Yeah,
Next
that's
question.
how you measure fish. What do you mean? Do you think you measure Magikarp differently from any other fish?
I have a good question or a good answer. What do you measure? But it's not appropriate.
Like if I lay down on the floor, you don't measure my height.
Yeah, I'm not going
somehow,
to.
Like.
All right, Kevin. Next one. Rapid strike questions. Let's go.
Grant, where can the people find you?
Oh Jesus. At real boo CK, one word. You can find me on Unite. It is boo CK, one word. I'm top 100 in the world, the entire world at Pokemon Unite. Pretty cool. And maybe I've been thinking about Twitch streaming a little bit, which would be boo_CK.
Yo, let's go. Anya, what about you? Do you exist on social media?
I'm trying to check if I exist. Okay, so you can find me on Twitter under Anya Kolberg. I found out that's my handle. If you didn't know, that's my handle.
And as always, in the description box, both of them are going to be linked. So if you would
KOLBERG. Right?
Yes, exactly how you would write Kolberg.
Well, come on.
Yeah. It's either based on coal or based on What's like
Coal is
I don't know the
COAL.
English words.
That's not.
Yeah.
No, it's no. You know I'm from Norway, Mel.
No, that's
right?
why I spelt it.
Norway.
We also have Kohl's here, KOHL. It's a department store.
Does that still exist?
I think so.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Well,
Better than
everything
Sears.
else is done. Yeah, Sears is gone. Kmart's gone.
Yes.
JCPenney's gone. So the mall
It
buying
may
clothes.
also be. The name may also be based on cabbage. We are not entirely sure.
I see the resemblance though.
Yes, it's because cabbage is corn in Norwegian.
Oh, interesting. There's a fact, Mello. Nobody
Yeah.
redeemed that, but you got a fact on stream.
Anya is named after cabbage.
I'm also named after a guy that name was Johan, which is I assume very dead, as we have no idea who he is.
I'm kind of
existed for a while ago.
I'd want to look into the history of that because of Johannesburg, South Africa, and given the things there. So I'd want to look into.
It's one of the most common Swedish names.
Yeah,
it's one of the most common Swedish names.
Yes.
So,
as I'm wearing my.
What do you even? Don't even describe that.
Wakanda.
Sure.
Wakanda forever.
Of course, myself, you can find me Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube at mellow_Magikarp. Remember to rate the show on iTunes if you're there. Leave a comment and a thumbs up if you're on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, go to YouTube and leave a thumbs up anyway. That'd be cool. And I have a new series coming out on YouTube called the Get Good Academy. We're going to focus, each episode will be less than 10 minutes. Hopefully, I might talk too long, but less than 10 minutes about a single skill in the TCG, why it's important, how to do it, how to practice it, and some examples. So if you're interested in that, you should check it out. I'm partially doing it to remind myself of important skills that I'm rusty on. So it's also for myself, but you can learn from it as well. This has been another episode of the Lake of Rage podcast. We'll catch you all next week.